wonder if I can get like a place.
We can hear you fine.
Huh?
We can hear you fine.
Yeah, I'm just, everybody else can.
Oh, we can go on. Well, they might go.
Yeah, this will work. All right. So, when I was in the Army, I'm going to start with that. I was in a situation where, thank you.
What's that? Oh, that's dry.
Oh, yeah. It's waffle back. I was in the Army in a situation where I had to railhead we had to do a night railhead. You know what railhead is, right? You drive armored tanks and vehicles and Bradleys onto a train, a flatbed train. And then the track hangs off each side of it a few feet, sometimes significantly. And if you go a little bit too much one way or the other, the entire train will flip, and the tank and the Bradley and everything, all that kind of stuff, right? And we had to do a railhead suddenly at night in the rain. And this is in Europe where you have a bunch of electric wire on top of the train, so if you get too close, it'll contact an oar. And you have to do this with ground guides at night and a flashlight. You have to go up a ramp onto the back of a railhead, and if you go one mistake one way or the other, you flip over, you fall, and the whole train comes off the track, right? And so the first sergeant stood up, and the colonel came up and said, okay, look, because normally in railheads, we like to let the new people try to get a first shot at it, or the people that haven't done that many times got a first shot at it. First sergeant came up, and this dude was double tour Vietnam vet, all that kind of stuff, and said, this is not a training exercise. We need people who know how to do this, and that's it. No exceptions. And so it wasn't a time where you had somebody learn how to railhead at night in the rain, right? You learn how to do that at a different time, in a different way. So it's a situation where you want to make sure that someone that really knows how to do it, because the results were, one, a catastrophe hurt people, and two, we couldn't get to our mission in time. So I ended up having the railhead like 19 vehicles myself, running back and forth and driving instead of letting newer drivers have a shot and a chance. And I think about that, and kind of it was an emergency situation we were in where we had to go quick. And this is kind of like a wartime situation almost. Not quite. I wasn't really calling it wartime when I was doing. We were going the former Yugoslavia, but and you've done this railhead before, probably, haven't you?
I have seen you look around.
It's not safe. It is not safe. It is not a very safe event. And at night it's not safe. In the rain it's not safe. At night, rain on an electrical train is not safe. And of course, everybody was also high strung because we thought we were about to go somewhere and get shot at. So it's a high stress event too. And we're kind of in that situation right now where there's ways we normally operate, and there's ways we got to do right now. And this specific set of units here are on survival mode right now, not like the rest of the area, because I want the rest of the area to operate completely different than what we're going to talk about here. All right. So this particular specific set of units, and I want us to graduate up to regular operations. But at first, we are on a different set of operating pattern here. And it really, when I came yesterday and we were out of waffle batter, we were out of thawed butter, we were out of racked eggs, we were out of diced onions, and we were unfunctional. Amber was about to make a call to close the restaurant, and it was the correct call to make. It was completely uncontrollable situation. And we had no staff, and even if she stayed to work it, it would have been impossible because there was just so much coming at us. It couldn't have happened. It just wouldn't happen. It would have been disaster. And so one is you have to ask for help. You got no one to ask for help. We're getting that far behind, and we got to get outside resources if possible, because there's a lot of stores in the area that have a really tough time now that aren't near as tough as some of the times we're having here. And you might testify to that from just a short time period. It's not even the same ballpark, right? It's not even the same ballpark. And so we can get outside of the market resources help sometimes. Sometimes we can't. And sometimes we might need to make a call that's not something we normally make, that we just all in communication patterns for that. But right now what's going on is our employees are at high stress. We are at high stress. Our marriages are high stress. And we got to come up with a stress reduction and actually able to function plan, right? So we actually can make it function. And then step up and graduate from there. And so when I look at a couple things we got going on here, one is, let's get on weekend pull. If you have to pre-pull anything, up your par till you have no pre-pull and stay on a weekend pull. Let's don't come on the weekend pull. Come off the weekend pull until like maybe January 2nd. We get to that at some point in time. But let's get on a heavy week, because all of a sudden last night we do 1,600 on a Sunday night. Tonight we might do 900, and the next night we might do 2,000. We don't know what we're going to be doing here, right? But we're making it really difficult to have to go back and forth on days when we have these unexpected sales. Wednesday becomes a Saturday for us sometimes. So we just don't know what's going on. So let's get on full. The objective of not needing to go back and anything. Now, I was talking to Greg yesterday, and I was talking about ideas for help in this situation. He's like, well, was it a planning thing because we had pulled more? It wouldn't matter. We couldn't have done anything, we pulled it. Nobody been able to do anything with the pull. Nobody could have cut the onions or made the walk about it at one time. Everybody was marked down. I mean, I was here, I ended up having me cooking yesterday on second. Tommy Kelly came in, who was going to cook, I ended up having the help. And we're pretty talented. Between us two, we couldn't get the place got up till 7. You know? It wouldn't matter if we had if we had a thing. It wouldn't matter. So we got to think about getting it set up. So a couple things I'm seeing here is stress points. Stress points is one, management stress. We got associate stress, and we got people arguing and creating tension. And as the associate can't find the to-go syrup, the associate gets barking at another associate, and then that associate starts barking, and the manager starts barking at the associate. So everybody starts barking. And there's a good reason to bark, but it's just a lot of stress. We got to reduce it. We got to try to reduce it as much as we can and make it as we possibly can. And I understand it's not going to be possible, but we got to try to work together to make it. What I got to do is try to do what I can to get outside resources to come in and rotate and help around on that. But what we got to do internally is what we can do to make that happen. One is prep. So I talked to Monty. I got diced onions approved, and I got diced onions gone. All y'all's trucks are already. We'll get diced onions the rest of the area until next week sometime. But I got diced onions coming on all y'all's trucks already. And then yeah, you go ahead. And then so we got that coming tomorrow. We need to get a prep person figured out daily, if possible, in this store. And then every Thursday, Saturday, and Monday, with the idea to carry 3 days worth of prep completed, right? And then what we also need to do is we need to get supplied up so we can store that prep. We're running out of Van Bridge, we're running out of silverware. Right now, I think we're able to make cheese eggs. I might have got that figured out. We're using bowls. I got the napkins just since we started the refill, so we're like that far level behind on stuff. So we need to get a prep person scheduled. Now I'm going to talk about this in training a little bit, but we'll talk about the trainees, hourly trainees. It is okay to use them as utility players. In fact, on Friday and Saturday, Sunday, you should use them as utility players. Now the problem is, we need a lot of them trained really quick to get to where we can function. But the other problem is, managers are just too preoccupied to train right. And then hourlies are too preoccupied to train, and it's just a big stress pit. So we're going to talk about how to resolve that later. But we need to get also a clean person crew to come in once a week, clean the hood, the stainless behind it, the filters, and the vents on the ceilings. We need to get like maybe a Monday or Tuesday between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. crew of 2 to come in and just knock that out once a week. Probably not at your shop club because y'all are keeping it up. And you got a really good crew there. You got the best crew of these three. But if 284 and 574, we probably need to have that arranged and set up. And you would want to get them to do the hose out, the back hood, the ceiling, and then the booth lines and stuff. As far as the hourly training, we talk about stuff on the staff. I got Lisa Palmero. So what she's going to do is she's going to do a Wednesday once a week ticket writing and calling class at 2308 from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. starting. So for this Wednesday, for the first one, we want anybody that's worked that we've hired on in the last 2 weeks that was trained to come to that class to get caught up. I can't make it a very big class, so we can't have the whole area coming to it. I can't have Fayetteville and Peachtree City and all that stuff coming to it because we're not even supposed to be getting together in a big room like that anyway. But anybody that has started this training, we're going to get her to start doing a 1 day a week class. I'm going to try to get somebody lined up to do a second class so we can have them more trained. The idea of onboard training is great, and it's almost probably better than classroom training. In this environment, it's just flat out not working because it's just creating too much stress on the team to train at the same time we're working. It's our only choice right now, so we have to do it. And normally, it's the best way to do it. With a manager there actively engaged in part of the training process. That's what we always talk about as a cultural company, is we gotta get management involved in training, which is very true. And it's the way to do it. And right now, it's kind of a mission impossible, right?
So you're gonna do training for this market at 2308?
Correct, yes.
It's not on the plus line?
Correct, yes.
Okay, I was just letting you know.
Yeah, that's what we got. Yeah.
Like with Palmetto, we used to send them.
Yeah, I was working on getting the room at the thing, but that's what we got for right now.
Okay.
All right, so we got to get that arranged. We got to get the transportation figured out. We got to get all those things figured out. If they can't get there, we're gonna work on trying to get them to at least 284, and then we can try to get them there. All right. So the other option I talked to Lisa about was doing a room at the Hampton Inn behind 284, if that's what it's gonna take. But right now we need to try to arrange to get them there. If the ones that can't make it, we can make it a class the next week. I'm gonna try to have an alternative person that can do it on Saturdays at the Hampton Inn by 284. For the ones that can't make it Wednesday. I'm working that up right now. So that way they at least have some kind of knowledge walking in the system. If they walk in and they have 3 or 4 days worth of real training, a real training class, then we can incorporate them into our system and they actually can start adding benefit instead of stress, right? But right now they're adding stress. So we gotta get that right. The other thing we gotta do is for the ones that we only can train so many at one time. I ran into one unit last week and they had 4 trainees in the building. It is, again, mission impossible. We only can train 1 or 2 people at a time. For the ones that aren't trained, we need to make them utility players, and utility players with guidelines, and guidelines such that they know what to do and how to do it, to where we don't have to constantly turn around and tell them what to do. Because as managers, again, we're so preoccupied with just trying to get through the day that we can't constantly turn around and tell them what to do. So they need to know how to, a prep person is not going to help you if they don't know how to do prep. John Blair can testify for having a prep person that didn't know how to do prep, pouring chili all inside a Ziploc bag and going all over a full part. Because if you have somebody who doesn't know how to do prep, trying to do prep, and they gonna help, right? So they gotta know how to do it. But there's only so many times a day we can tell someone how to do something. So we need to. The people feel like that when the utility players, as I call them, the trainees, are doing something that's beneficial. People appreciate them around them, right? They feel like they're accomplishing something, and so they kind of feel good about themselves, and you have a higher chance of retention. And eventually they can start catching on to things until we can say, okay, hey, this person's in training. Let's take this utility player and just concentrate on training them next. And we might be out of people till then, but if we have the utility players, if we have trainees in the middle of the mix and creating stress, we're gonna start losing them. And then we're gonna start burdening our staff so much, they just don't want to come to work. I was talking to Ramesh about this before I came in, and he ran into the same problem with 2 things. That he had trainees in the buildings, and associates were calling out because they didn't really feel like messing with the stress of a trainee that day, and they just did it the day before to stress them out, and they're just calling out because they won't do it. And then another one where managers just basically aren't hiring because they don't want to mess around with training. They'd rather just try to run through short with their own people than trying to mess around with training because it's a lot of work, right? So we got to balance that out till we get up to a point where we're staffed enough that we can operate normally, but we're the ones personally involved with a lot more heavier training. But until then, we got to minimize how much we're doing at once. We got to do it one at a time. Like you try to get the utility players organized. Amber, you need to organize what trainees each trainee is doing for the week and for the day, right? So you're telling, okay, Sarah, Eric and Javante are going to train, not Javante, but somebody's going to be training as salespeople. So-and-so's going to be training in cooks, and then so-and-so are going to be utility players doing prep, right? You got to own and organize that pattern of who's doing what. And then for the ones that are training the cook, it's okay to have them do meets only on the weekend and on Friday too. Because again, they're adding stress to the system if you try to get them to do more than that. You've got to get them off meets only. They will never learn how to cook. The best way to do that is at another store on second shift with a cook that knows how to cook, right? Or at your store on second or third shift, possibly, with a cook that knows how to cook. But if it's on first shift with you, it's just, again, going to add stress, and they're probably not really going to learn, right? But eventually, it's got to be on first shift with you learning how to mark and then learning how to do it. But at the very beginning of it, that's just going to be adding stress levels that are insurmountable, right? So you got to make sure you organize that pattern right and pattern that to where it makes sense. But you don't want to start a cook on first shift at 284 or 574 and have them doing marking and eggs in the first 4 days. It's not going to work. It's going to be very, 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 very difficult. This morning, how would that have gone, Amber, here? It would have been impossible. I mean, literally. You had Amber, it just would have been literally impossible. So we got to make sure we're doing something that's not going to create stress and not a possibility. Again, I don't have the rest of the area in the conversation because I do not want them behaving like that. I need them doing what we need to do as far as managers' personal involvement in the training process. It's going to be impossible for this crew right now. Y'all got to graduate, so it's a possibility, but right now it's going to be an impossible thing. We got to get every single stress point of the delivery of the way we're communicating to our associates. We got to be aware if we reach points of frustration ourselves, we're not publicly demonstrating those points of frustration. I've seen managers, I've seen myself yesterday, I've seen someone else yesterday, I've seen a cook yesterday that knew better. I've seen this happen to where people are saying something to an associate that sounds innocent, but the tone or manner or the way it was delivered came across as a negative to a situation that just didn't need a negative and it causes stress. So we gotta be very careful about that. Be very careful about the way we're delivering our message to our associates, the way it sounds in front of the customers, the potential embarrassment. Our people are going through a lot of stress. As Rick will put it, we just gotta get by these 2 months. August 1st, the unemployment stuff, hopefully, will come to a more normalized pattern, right? And we'll be able to get people back into work, hopefully, unless it gets extended. We just gotta get past these 2 months. And we're gonna operate a little bit asystematic these 2 months. But we gotta get past these 2 months. And once we get past these 2 months, then we can start operating on a more systematic basis. And this whole plan of what we're doing might evolve and change, but we need to change that. So immediately what we need to do is get a prep person scheduled. And then if we can, we need to try to get a 6 a.m. PRC person coming in to help do the PRC and be ready for production. And then try to get an 8 p.m. person coming in to help do the PRC ready for production. We had 2 stores. We had 3 stores over 1,000 last night. One do 16, one do 13. And luckily we had this one fairly ready. I guess it's gonna be a lot more ready. But I was like, I'm gonna do the fall pull and we'll get the prep done and this, that, and the other. We'll be more ready tonight. And they did 16. And again, we're just out of stuff again, right? So just that quick. And I was here last night and they're out of Texas, they're out of the Go Lids, and they're out of this. And there's so many things in here that we need someone to help pick up that load, right? Until we can graduate to operating normally. So we don't have people for all this, so we need to try to get our utility players doing things that can add stress and value, reduce stress and add value to us immediately until they are able to train up to what they can do and try to get as many of them in the equation. Now Joshua's back from vacation tomorrow? Okay. We need to fill him in on what we're trying to do with the prep roll. Prep is obviously a point. I don't know how many units in the last week and out of onions. Nobody wants to cut onions right now. Nobody does. I tried to get somebody to come and help me prep yesterday and did everything in the world with onions. I had to make them do onions. I had to tell them twice. Onions. I ended up cutting some onions too, of course, but so there's some things that people just don't want to do, and it's just, we gotta get that reduced as much as possible. But the prep in general is a big start, and not just prep, but setting the floor up and getting everything set up and organized. Getting people out of their shift after if people had a bad shift, getting them out of there and getting it caught up and getting the situation caught up. Having utility players who can come in and just spend 3 hours catching a dispatch up, right? That adds value to reducing stress. And then hopefully we can start keeping things calm, or we can graduate up and build back up to a more normal operation. There might be some value in just having a utility player come in on Saturday and Sunday between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. and then maybe even Friday, Saturday and Sunday between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. to do nothing but catch the stuff up. So be thinking about how we can go out of the box to do that.
You want me to ask Wesley?
Huh? Wait, maybe. I mean, I don't look at outside resources. I think we have a lot of people in much